just interrupting because we have a very, very intense race here. And it's Casper who's leading. No. It's Soe who is leading. And he is dominating Casper really much. And yes, you might wonder, am I sick from the bad weather? No, not yet. But I will probably become.
Hi, Johan.
Hello.
The beast.
Yes.
So we're doing a little interview before we're going surfing, and then Johan will kick my ass, I hope. So how and when did you start windsurfing?
So I started in 2016. I think it was because, I'm actually not sure of this, but I think it was because I was on a sailing trip with my family.
Yeah.
And we saw some windsurfers actually at Venø. And then after that I got some lessons at the club in Horsens. And basically started with my father there. And then he also got quite excited. So we bought two sets of...
equipment with your dad?
Yes.
I actually thought your dad was an old windsurfer. I have met him many times.
No, actually, nobody in my family has been sailing in their past. So was basically just me and my father that started together. And he also really liked it, so he bought us a starter set. And then it basically went from there.
Super. Because I remember the first time I saw you, it was in 2017, I think. I was doing the wave freestyle camps, and you showed up, and we drove to the North Sea, and you borrowed a wakeboard. You didn't have a wakeboard, and then you went out to sea, and then you drifted like 500 meters down the beach. So that was the first time I saw you. Then a couple of years later, you were in Borg. I think you just switched to sail loft at that time.
Yes.
And then you kicked my ass totally. I was just starting. Yes. My racing career was starting, and you were already way quicker than me, so very demotivating. But talking about wave sailing, do you ever do wave sailing, or are you only slalom?
Actually, I have the sails for it. Yes. So I have the whole rig for it, but actually I don't have a board, so I just sold it. Okay. It was such a nice board that I had to sell it because I was never using it. So.
Okay.
So, but I would like to get a waveboard again, maybe. But now I'm doing so much racing that I almost doesn't have time for it anymore. So that's basically also why I sold it.
Okay, super. Yeah. So talking about racing, how is it to sail a final on the PWA? Is it the most for us who doesn't do that? I've always think that you must have so much adrenaline and you must be so psyched that it must be like driving like driving Formula 1, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like I remember my first final also, I was really surprised myself. And for sure you have a lot of adrenaline. But as like the more finals you make, the more focus and less excited I would say you get in the final. Like yes. So the more experience you get, the more calm you are in the final, I would say. And the same with like when I made my first bullet, I remember like the final jibe, I was just shaking so much. And now when I'm making the bullets, I'm much more calm and steady.
Yeah. So in the future you will be even more calm and you will kick even more ass. I think so. I hope. So also about the racing at the highest level, what do you prefer? Do you think like the PWA is the highlight for you, or is it Defi where you compete with Goyard over this long distance, and after 30 kilometers there's like only 200 meters separating you from first and second place?
Yeah, well, I don't know, like I really like the Defi also. I was competing 3 times in the Defi, two normal Defi wins and one superstar event. And yes, like I like the long distance format a lot, and I really enjoy it. And now with the foil, it's also not so physical, so it's easier than on the fin. I did it one time at the superstar. I did some fin races, but also the Defi in 2022 I did only on the fin, and it's super tough compared to the foil.
Yeah. Well, because the next question are you ever overpowered? Because like at one Defi where I was there, I think 2022, you went out on 7-0 and I was on 5-1 speed sail, fully cambered and with all my talents, and I was so overpowered, and you just 7-0. It was a bit big. But do you ever feel overpowered like us?
Well, I think especially when I was younger, I was always overpowered. Maybe even too much, because I was like I was scared that to be stuck, and also maybe my light wind technique was not the best. But now I try to be more on the same size as the other guys, like the same size or maybe a slightly bigger size, but not like I would never go 2 sizes over again like I sometimes did when I was younger.
Okay.
Because it's not fast.
It's not fast. Yeah, it's still fast. So, in what you say, are you still growing and gaining weight?
No, so I think I've been pretty steady. Just over 100 kilos for like 2 years now.
And you say 100 kilos, is that 108 kilos? Or
no, like
102?
No,
or?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
And now I'm even losing a little bit to be extra fit.
Okay.
Yes.
So you think like in the good old
also
days...
for the IQ foil is you don't want to be too heavy.
Okay.
Because there is sometimes we race in really light wind, and I don't see any point of being the only heavy guy in the fleet. So. Okay. So it's better to be a bit lighter and more fit.
Yeah. So the perfect weight for the perfect racer.
I would say for me is probably about 100.
Okay.
I think.
Super. Yeah. Also about the weight and the fitness. How many times a week do you go to the gym?
It depends, like if it's the season or the off season. But for example, now when I'm home and don't sail so much, like this Christmas break, I'm in the gym like 3 times strength and 3 times conditioning. And then when I'm sailing more, also maybe it's like I go a little bit down on the time in the gym. So it's maybe 2 times in the gym, if even 2 times. To do some strength training, and then maybe you also 1 or 2 times cardio training.
Okay. And so, do you like all the most other PWA sailors? They go to Tenerife for the winter. I know you only had 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
I
year.
had 2 weeks. Yes.
And the wind was not very good.
No.
But you had the school, and of course, school is important. So, but this for 2024, how many? For how long are you going?
Actually, I don't know if I'm going to Tenerife. I will have to figure out still. So I'm not sure yet. I will be on Lanzarote a lot, but Tenerife I'm not sure.
Okay. So that's why we are training in this miserable weather.
Yes.
As you'll see in just a moment, it's really shitty. Okay. So, sponsors for next year. I think many people are interested. Are you keeping for boards? What are you doing there?
Yeah, so for the boards I stay with FMX, and I'm really happy about that. I think the boards are the best. So yes, super happy.
Nice. And sales?
Sales, I'm also staying with the 0.7, and yes, also really love the sales, and love the support from Andrea as well. So I'm happy to stay as well.
Because
and I've been with 0.7 now for 4 or 5 years, I don't even know. So yes, super happy to stay and continue the cooperation.
Yeah, because Andrea or Cookie, he does like the caddying job, because one of my questions was actually also because your dad, sometimes he posts some things where he's measuring your foil, and I know he is rigging and de-rigging and caddying at the events that are close, and then at the events longer away, sometimes Cookie is caddying for you? Or?
Yes, so it's a bit different. My father is very good at repairing stuff and like all the making the foil fit perfect, sanding the foil and all this stuff, and he does a lot of that stuff for me also, because I often break a lot of equipment. So he has a lot of experience now in repairing stuff. I would almost say he's a pro. And he even repairs a lot of stuff for my friends also. So he's the best in that area. And then Andrea is really good to have doing an event also, because he's he can go underwater with my spare set or another size, so I can change underwater, and also he can really gives, or he do give me a lot of tips, like mentally and how to race. So that's good as well.
Yeah, he's an experienced sailor. And
Yes.
also very good still.
Indeed.
So, talking about now we know what branch you're on. What do you prefer, fin or foil? Quick answer.
Foil.
Okay.
Foil.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So for 24, there will be coming the IFCA only on fin.
Yes.
When we descended the World Championship. Are you?
Yes.
Are you doing that?
Yes, that's the plan. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, but what if you're unlucky? I don't think they would do it. But what if there's an PWA?
Yeah, if there's a PWA, I would have to do the PWA, obviously. But I mean, I don't hope or I don't think they will put it on top of each other. That wouldn't be so smart.
No. Super. So, yeah. Now you said you prefer the foil, and of course you're very good at the foil. But top of your head, what slalom fin do you think is the best? Is it the Carpenter, Z fin, whatever?
Actually, I mean, in the end, I don't have so much experience on the fins. Like I was never testing so many fins. Okay. I have a few Z fins. I have a few Carpenters. And I like the Carpenter also a lot. So, but I was never testing the other branch really. And
okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So Z fin and Carpenter. So
yes.
Good. Yeah. So also on equipment, how many masts do you test for sail? Because you hear Maciek or somebody, they go through 10 masts or something, take the best and then the second best for practice and then send the rest back.
For the mast, actually, I only had I had 2 sets of masts for my foil sails. But I was never testing both. I was only using one set. The other set was just for spare in case I broke something. So I brought them with me for every event.
Yeah, but what in the beginning of the season? Do you
Yes,
get like 5
no,
masts?
I only have one set of masts. So
okay.
Actually, there's no testing.
Okay, you just take what you get.
Pretty easy.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, but that also saves a lot of money.
Yes.
So I will cancel my order because I have ordered 3 masts for every sail size for this season. But yeah, that if you're fast, you don't have to. And when we see the World Cup and the live stream, it's so exciting, and also because I've also raced foil and stuff like that, and I can see with the drones we get these really tight shots of you and close-ups, and you can see if there's just a little wiggle or when you're going over a swell or something, and I'm thinking like, shit, it's gonna crash, and I actually feel the adrenaline rush myself. So hence as the live stream, it has made windsurfing so much more exciting. But in foiling, the most exciting part is like in Formula 1, it's the crashes.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of them, and they are big, and they look very dangerous. So, do you have any pro tips on how you don't get hurt foil crashing, other than being young and strong? Do you roll yourself together? What do you do?
Actually, like I don't think I crash so often, but when I do, it's often pretty big crashes and I destroy a lot of equipment. But I never hurt myself actually. But it's not like I have a technique or anything because it goes so quick. Like
you're just in it for the ride, so
yes. So actually, I don't have any tips, but yeah. Try not to crash.
Try not to crash. Wear a helmet.
Yes. Wear a helmet, yes.
Yes, super. Okay. So I have noticed that you're not the most. You don't post like every day. Like let's take a social media guy like Nico Prian, who's also a very good World Cupper, and he posts like Instagram stories and stuff like that. And with you, it's more like 5 days before an PWA event. There's a small clip with you just doing perfect starts on the or otherwise a clip from Clint Miller training in the waves with the foil. And when it's just before silt, so is it a bit of a tactic that you just post like I'm super sharp right now? Be aware other competitors at the PWA because you don't otherwise do so much social media.
No,
I think.
And I think also that's probably a mistake. It's maybe because this year I just didn't prioritize it so much. But for sure for the future I would like to do some more social media because also for the sponsors it's very important. So for sure I will try to step it up. But it's not really a tactic. It's just like
it's just coincidence that it's just
No.
right before the events. Look at how good I am.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, like
It would be a good tactic, I think.
Yeah,
Psychological. Just get the mental edge and then.
yes, like but for sure, like I'm always ready just before an event, so I just I make a little post and then people, my followers also know where I'm going and what the plan is now. So
Yeah. And what when you're going to an event, do you? Now we've just touched on this, how many times you go to the gym and that. Do you stop like 1 week in advance so your body can regenerate? So you're not just going to the gym 2 days before you hop in the plane and fly to Japan, for instance?
No, for the gym work, I for sure try to time it so I'm well recovered before the event.
Yeah.
But for the foiling, I would say it doesn't really matter because in the slalom foil, it's really not. If you have the trim, I don't feel it at all in the body. Like you could go all day.
Okay.
So it's not the same for the fin, but for the foil for sure.
Yeah. And for next year, when they're talking about splitting up the tour, both in foil and fin, will you do both events?
Yes, that's the plan. Yes.
Super.
So.
And so this one is a bit fun. How many hours a day do you think about windsurfing during a normal day without wind?
For sure, I think a lot about it. Like yes, probably many times during a day because I'm doing it so much. So I don't know. Probably many hours.
Yeah, I think I do it too, even with jobs and kids and family. So okay. Last question. Best tip for windsurfers who wants to win races, that could be me. And besides from avoiding races where you participate, what is the best tip you can give for somebody who wants to win?
I would say just practice, like on the slalom course, you mean?
Yeah.
So I would say practice a lot of starts. Obviously, there is always some tuning to do, so you feel well trimmed in on your equipment. But I think for sure the most important is just to be able to jibe good and start good, because in the end, the trim makes a difference. But if you start 5 meters behind, it doesn't make a difference. So I think the most important is like your skill and then the trim afterwards, I would say.
Yeah. Thank you for the words. We'll make a video out of it.
Yes. Thank you.
We'll be